What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? All two of you. How we doing? I'll be I'll be honest with you. I've been better. I've I've been better, man. I have this headache that I think it's because legit like some people get hangovers because they drink too much beer or too much booze. I get hangovers because I drink too much fucking soda and not enough water. I shit you not. And the thing is, they last all day. I do drink every now and again, but really soda is kind of my comfort food. Soda is kind of that thing that I just cannot get enough of. I don't understand how people can in well, actually, no, I do enjoy beer, right? I do enjoy the taste of beer, but I don't understand how people can have like a beer every single day. Me, I could drink soda every single day, dude, and I'm talking like mass quantities of it. It's crazy. I'm kind of I wouldn't say I'm an addict necessarily. I literally can stop whenever I want. It's just that I really don't fucking want to. What's going on, Monsieur Big? Is it the carbonation? No, it's taste. It's taste. I don't like again, like I don't understand how people could drink something for carbonation or anything like that. Um, carbonation is just weird to me. That's why I don't like bubble water. So somebody said it tastes like TV static. I happen to agree 100% with that. One sec, I'm just checking something real quick. Okay. Yep. All right. There it is. So, this is typically a Fallout New Vegas stream, okay? But today, before we get into New Vegas, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to check out a video that I ended up seeing a little bit of on Twitter. Um, a little bit of on Twitter that I would like to react to if that is at all possible. Hopefully, it's going to play out right. I actually wanted to make a legit video out of this and release it tomorrow, but I legit tried like 5 or 6 times to make this video and it didn't work out. So I figure, you know what, we'll just react on here and hopefully it turns out. What's going on, Sylvia? How you doing? Oh man. Just gonna adjust real quick, and I'm gonna get one more thing together before I end up doing this. Yep. All right, so there we go. Now, for those that don't know, okay, there was an MMA fighter by the name of Natan Levy. He is 8-1 in his MMA career, and he is 2-1 in his UFC career. Now, the differentiation is because the UFC is not the same as your regional promotion and things like that. The competition is a little bit more stiff in the UFC, of course, but this MMA fighter, Natan Levy, he is Jewish. And I mean, hey, that's all well and good. I don't have a problem with anybody based off race, religion, or creed or anything like that. But his branding is that he is Jewish. That's basically just how he does things. He's literally got shirts that say Jew as in JEW Jitsu on his shirts. He's got the Star of David, everything, which again, like, I don't have a problem with somebody being proud of their heritage or their religion or whatever it happens to be, right? That's all good. But I do think that's a little weird when people start trying to brand it, especially when it's a religion, because a religion is not meant to be a brand, right? Like that right there is not my brand, okay? That's my religion. That is everything to me. All right? I'm not going to try and make money off of my religion or anything like that. That to me is kind of screwed up. And that's one of those things that when I see it, I just immediately think like, ugh, ugh, like this guy's really doing that, ugh. But um, you have two streams set up. There's one that's live and one that's upcoming. Huh? That's strange. Huh? Hold up. Let me check that out before I do start doing this. Yeah, that is pretty weird. Huh? I have one that's live and one that's upcoming. You are correct. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can delete this. Or you know what I'll do before I start. Huh, that's strange. All right, hopefully this doesn't screw everything up. All right, we good? We still here? We still here? We're good. We are still here, right? We are still here. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna check on my own device. Interesting. Okay, all right. And then this is all good. Yes, this is all good. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. Now, Natan Levy, he is Jewish. That's fine by me. I'm totally okay with that. Like, what if I wasn't okay with it? What would it change? It would change absolutely nothing, right? He's still going to be Jewish, even if I wasn't okay with that. But I do think it's really weird when somebody uses their religion to try and brand themselves. Your religion is more than earthly pleasures, earthly pains, earthly anything. Religion is meant to be above all of that, and specifically whatever religion you adhere to, right? This is how I feel about the gospel. This is how I feel about, Christianity. It's how I feel about Jesus. It's how I feel about the Word of God. Whatever you want to say, whatever word you want to apply to it, that's what it's meant to be. And that's why I don't sit here trying to politicize religion. And when somebody, regardless of what they believe, whether I agree with them or not, when they try to bring their politics into religion or the religion into politics in such a strange manner, I immediately am just like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I trust that guy. I don't know how I feel about that guy, right? And it doesn't matter. Like, they could completely and totally agree with everything that I think and feel. The second they're trying to say, well, God said, so we should do this. It's like, dude, like, no, like, stop trying to utilize the word of God to manipulate people, right? Is basically the way that I feel about it. But with that aside, there was some Nick Fuentez supporters, or really one Nick Fuentez supporter on Twitter, who ended up going to this guy's gym. And that's the video that we're going to take a look at. I just wanted to preface this a little bit with who Natan Levy is. And there is also going to be another guy. His name's like Seaman Motritsky, or whatever his name is. He's also going to be featured in this video. We're going to delve into those guys a little bit, though, all right? But I just wanted to kind of preface this video, or, the little parts of this video that we're going to be taking a look at, with a little bit of information about these guys. So, with that said, we're going to go ahead. Oh, and before I say anything, before I do anything, I want to say that I am not a Nick Fuentez supporter, okay? I don't adhere to what he believes in. I don't follow him in any way, shape, or form. I really don't even know that much about the guy, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not here to try and side with anyone. I'm not here to make anyone a bad guy necessarily. I'm just here to look at what I can see in this video, and take as much of the politics out of it as possible, and just look at it as two guys that are in a room together and watching how they act and react to each other, right? That's really what I want to look at here, because I think that's the most important part of this, and I think that it will paint a certain picture that if you allow yourself to be swept up in this whole politics game, you're not actually going to be able to see. And if you're swept up in that politics game, not only are you going to miss the forest for the trees, but you're not going to end up really understanding just how bad this video is. So that's kind of what we're here doing. What am I doing right now? Jeez. I'm still learning how to do certain things on Streamlabs, and one of those things is making it as easy as possible to switch from thing to thing. But we're all good. Well, never mind. We are not all we are not all good, ladies and gentlemen. There we are. We are all good now. Okay. So, the title of this is Jewish UFC. Yes. The title of this is Jewish UFC Fighter Destroys White Supremacist Supporter. We are starting at about 29 seconds. That is just after the intro, right? But let's go ahead. Extreme
ago,
Couture.
some wimp on Twitter posted a picture of his.
So that's
president,
Natan.
Said this is what every white nationalist should look like. This is what everybody who follows Nick Fuentes should look like.
He is also a Holocaust denier who advocate race war and, I kid you not, burning women alive in a.
It's just funny to me because real quick, right? So, you know, again, like not cool, right? None of that is cool, but just let's see if we can find the picture, right? Oh, right here. Look at this, right? Do you I don't know. I don't know Nick Fuentes' supporters, right? I'm not sure, dude. Like legit. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the guy, right? But does anyone think this guy was actually serious when he posted that picture? Because to me, that kind of looks like he's just kind of trying to bait people into like arguments and stuff like that. Not even like serious arguments, literally just like putting something out there to be like, haha, yeah, it'd be funny if I was serious, wouldn't it? But I'm not. But this guy right here, he took him serious. A lot of people took this serious. To me, this looks like a troll post. I mean, look at that shit, bro. Look at that shit. That's crazy. So right away, I'm just sitting here thinking like, all right, so this is just some like dumb kid on the internet who like he's posting some stuff to try and piss people off, and it's working, right? But with that said, let's go ahead and let's try and get back to that point.
I kid you not, burning women alive in America.
Somebody tagged me and I commented, he built like a chopstick. Definitely.
So right here we have basically the genesis of this specific instance, right? Basically the genesis of this specific video right here. The Twitter is very important and it's very telling, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna read through everything so that you understand the point that I'm kind of trying to make with this video. Okay, so this Zach guy says, hey, Natan_Levy, you see this shit? Natan ends up replying, he's built like a chopstick, definitely not a threat. Yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of the point, was like to, you know, just to kind of goof, right? So all right, whatever. But that's not even the issue that I have. I'm just trying to walk you through everything so that everybody kind of understands the timeline here.
Definitely not a threat. Some guy jumped in the thread named Ben.
All right, Ben. Now, I've actually talked to this guy. I was going to do an interview with him. I'm not sure if that's still on or not, but, you know, I'm not going to say, yeah, it definitely is. We were supposed to do it today, but he's actually living in the middle of where that Hurricane Hillary is going to be. So, you know, he was like, I don't know about today. But, so let's check out his thing. Writer, UFC enjoyer. Now, there's a couple more things. Parody. So this guy is a UFC enjoyer who also put parody account on his little Twitter account right there. I find that to be interesting because really you're going to see in a little while just the way that this kid acts and reacts to people that he's around and things like that. And I'm going to be honest with you, it almost seems like he was just a guy who saw an opportunity and took it. He seems like he was like, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe I can get to go to Extreme Couture and maybe I can be around all these UFC guys that I would normally watch on TV. And I mean, sure, I got to get my ass beat by one of them, but like, that's a story in and of itself. Maybe I could do something like that. I haven't talked too much about what his motivation was. I do know some things that he did tell me that was behind the scenes for all this and stuff like that, but I never asked him about what his motivation for all of this was, right? To me, though, it almost just kind of sort of seems like he was like, dude, I can be around UFC fighters. Hey, yeah, sure. Now, is he, I mean, look, he's got the cross, right, in his little bio. He's some form of Christian. I'm pretty sure that's an Orthodox thing. Maybe to some degree he is either conservative or who knows, maybe he is just straight up a Nick Fuentes supporter or follower or something like that to one degree or another. But I just think that it's the little things with this situation that you really have to take a look at, and a certain picture starts getting painted if you start adding all of these things up. And we're not even going to be looking at the entirety of the video. We're just going to be looking at some of the key moments. We're going to take Fuentez for the most part, right? I know we just watched a little bit of it, but we're going to take Fuentez out of this equation because you're going to notice that Fuentez doesn't really matter that much outside of being basically a MacGuffin, right? If I'm using that term properly. Basically a catalyst to get this situation in motion. outside of that, he really is irrelevant to this whole situation. But let's continue, because this is really where it, this is really where it picks up, in my opinion.
And he said he's willing to come meet me to defend Nick Fuentes' honor. And
Okay, so let's go ahead and read this. I'll drive to Vegas any day of the week to spar you on behalf of Nicholas J. Fuentez and America First. And that is quite the sentence. If somebody said that out loud to me, I don't know how I would react to that. With no formal MMA training, should be easy, right? Okay, so he's issuing a challenge right now. All right, now I want you to keep in mind, he did issue a challenge saying that he would fight Natan. Okay, fine, right? He said he'd do it on behalf of Nick Fuentez and America First. Kind of cringe, in my opinion. If you want to hate him for that, all right, fine, whatever, that's cool, right? You don't gotta like Fuentez, you don't gotta like his followers and stuff like that. You can dislike them for any amount of reasons, but he personally has not really done anything too over the line right now, if I'm just being honest with you. Let's continue.
And come spar with me. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, whatever, come. No.
Yeah, notice he said, yeah, whatever, come. No, he said, sure, I'll gladly KO your punk ass. Come see me, bro. Also got no clue who this Dickless J. Funtez is. You do, and that's why you misspelled his name on purpose. But bring him and the Chopstick Kid too. I'll Venmo you the gas money. Notice the immediate, just like, rudeness and arrogance on his part. And it continues.
No problem, bring the women from the picture too, and Nicholas Fuentes. We can all meet, I'll Venmo you some cash for the gas. For me, that's another troll talking shit online. To my
He wasn't talking shit, though.
surprise, he DM'd me, told me he's coming to town.
Okay, now, again, pay close attention. Ben says, this Friday to Sunday, DM me the time and the Addy. Let's run it. When I first read this, I thought Addy meant Adderall. But no, it means address. Natan says, Saturday, Extreme Couture. Send me a DM, you're in town, and we'll set a time so you don't waste mine. Again, just the arrogance. Like, what has been done thus far besides just say, hey, like, you want to fight? Right? What has he done? And this entire time, Natan is just kind of being a dickhead, if we're being honest with you. And it continues. Let's keep going.
And he would love to take me up on the offer. All of a sudden, it wasn't
Word.
as mean-spirited as it was prior. It's all about respect. Respect, bro.
It was never mean-spirited on his part. And this is what I'm talking about. You see how Natan is trying to craft some kind of narrative where this kid was like in the DMs or something like that. Like, you pussy, I'll knock you the fuck out, bitch. He's trying to craft some kind of weird narrative like that, when really this kid thus far has just been like, hey, I mean, if you want to fight, we can fight, you know? I guess we could do that, bro, you know? I mean, look, I'm not trained, bro. You're probably going to kick my ass, dude, but, like, I mean, hey, man, like, you know, we could fight. That's all this kid has done. He's actually been, like, relatively respectful. That is one of the most respectful call-outs I have ever seen. Most call-outs are, like, a lot more mean-spirited and verbally violent, I guess you could say. Aggressive. They're a lot more mean-spirited and aggressive than that. You see what Dylan Dennis is doing to Logan Paul lately? Right? You see what he's been doing to Logan Paul for damn near a week now? Right? You see what Logan Paul has been trying to do to Dylan Dennis? Right? That is insane. This is like this is like the redhead kid Ben. This is like Ben invited Natan to a tea party comparatively, and here Natan is like, oh man, he was being such a meanie face, and I was like, hey man, I don't wanna like, you know, I don't want any trouble, man. I'm just a humble MMA fighter trying to make my way in the world. And the redhead was like, oh no, I'm gonna beat you up. That's the way he's trying to frame this. And it's like, nah, bro, like, you kind of look like an asshole right now. You know, I understand you're propagandizing, right? Because you're trying to make a name for yourself, right? You're trying to present the situation in a way that doesn't make you look like an asshole. I get that, right? But you look like an asshole to anybody who has more than 2 brain cells to rub together and is not easily swayed by, like, magic words and other things like that. It's just crazy, you know? But let's continue, because it keeps on going. It's just crazy to see this. Nice handshake, look him in the eye, say hello to everybody.
Waiver is good, it's signed, everything's good.
Ready to go. Yeah, I saw one of his posts come across Twitter. It was like critical.
Again, Ben, Twitter troll, Nick Fuentez, Nut Rider. Like, why do you gotta be such an asshole about it?
Of somebody who associates himself with America first and the political values that I value.
We all know that Israel controls the right wing. We all know.
All right. I'm not interested in them cutting in things with Fuentez. Like I said, Fuentez is actually not that big of, not a deal, but a factor in this video. He's not that big of a factor in this video. And them cutting in his stuff is really just them trying to make it a bigger factor than it actually is, right? At the end of the day, right now, we have two dudes who are in a room together. And really what matters more than anything, what matters more than Nick Fuentez, who I guarantee you doesn't even know that Ben exists, right? What matters more than Nick Fuentez is how these two are going to treat each other in the moment, right? And this used to be common knowledge before everything absolutely positively went haywire in our world is, hey, regardless of what you think and how you feel, what matters is how you treat other people, right? But nowadays, I guess that's not a thing. It's not a thing anymore. And because of this, here we are right now. I have to fast forward through Nick Fuentez because, they have to try and frame this as though this is some kind of like win for like, it's just some kind of win, right? I'm trying not to talk politics. I'm trying not to even talk historical events here if I possibly can. But that's what this is right now. So let's go ahead.
Former martial arts experience trained person myself, I just thought it'd be fun to come spar.
Who's
So
Nicholas Fuentes?
this guy is martial arts trained, I guess.
Tell me.
So Nick Fuentez is the leader of America First.
I fucking hate women. Like,
Again, you see they have to make it about Nick Fuentez. It's not about this kid who is like, yeah, sure, we can fight. It's about Nick Fuentez. All right. So,
Talking on Twitter, right?
Yeah, no, I was just messing around.
Ah, you were messing around?
I was just messing around.
I'm not a hateful person. I love everybody,
First impression of
All right, so what's the problem?
seeing Ben in the gym. Why were you
And there we go. The mask comes off, right? This guy, right, is not allowed to just be himself. He's a white pussy for being nice on Twitter, for being nice in person, right? But apparently, you're also not allowed to talk smack about Jews on Twitter, right? It's just crazy, the double standard. And again, you're supposed to watch this and be like, wow, Natan is the good guy. Natan's the good guy in all of this. It's just crazy. And again, like, I keep pausing it at kind of weird times and stuff like that. It's because I want to try and talk about a bunch of different small things that happen in this video that, again, if you look and you add them together, you realize exactly what's going on here, right? But he's straight up asking him, why were you talking shit about Jews on Twitter? Let's see what Ben has to say about this.
talking shit about Jews on Twitter?
I never. So then what's the problem, bro? What are you trying to do here, Natan? What is your goal? What is your thing with all of this? The narrative just changes, right? They set a narrative, that narrative slowly falls apart by the end of this, and then at the end of the video, they're like, yeah, don't talk smack. Don't talk smack. It's just crazy. So we'll go ahead, all right? Again, it's a big thing with Nick Fuentez. This guy is actually not a bad guy, so we have to show you Nick Fuentez instead, right? So, let's go ahead.
I'm primarily a striker. I said I did karate, taekwondo, mixed with it for 8 years. I got my black belt.
So karate and taekwondo for 8 years is not the same thing as mixed martial arts for the amount of time and the intensity that Natan has been doing this.
That's awesome.
What's up, bud? Hey, are you sparring?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you sign
I don't know why they did Ray Sefo. I think they just wanted him in there for some kind of star power, but most people don't know who Ray Sefo is.
And it'll be fun.
He's just a kid, probably a dumb kid. Not gonna hurt him too bad, but lesson has to be taught here about trolling. Education is.
What lesson though? He already said he didn't really mean it, and he personally never talked smack in the first place. You were the one who was being an asshole. You need to have a lesson taught to you about trolling, and education should be painful for you because you're the asshole here. Not him. He's actually been really cool. He seems like a nice guy. You, on the other hand, though, you seem predatory. You seem like a predator who's taking advantage of somebody who is, again, probably just really happy to be there. Who's like, wow, dude. Whoa, this is crazy, dude. Wow. Whoa, dude. I saw that guy on TV. He beat up some other guy. And whoa, dude, that's one of my favorite fighters right there. And oh, dude, wow. He's probably just really happy to be there. And you're sitting here and you're taking him and you're about to beat the hell out of him, right? And it's gross to see all this and then to turn around and have to deal with like just knowing that this guy is not even that good. We're gonna get to that in a little bit, but spoiler alert: this guy is not that good, right? I'll explain to you why later, but he's not good. He sucks. He's not a good fighter. But we're gonna continue, all right?
Painful sometimes.
He hasn't watched film on me. I have striking, I have power, I have the size.
It's a classic case of fuck around and find out.
All right, so that kick didn't hurt. That one most likely did. Kick from Ben. Okay. I don't know if that actually landed. If it did, it was a grazing blow. Ooh, Ben coming forward, sending him back. That was an interesting kick. So that was an overhand that did land, but again, it looked like a glancing blow. Okay, so we're getting to the point where it's going to be the ground portion. Now, I'm going to remind you, Ben has 0 ground experience, okay? One thing I'm going to ask you, what did you notice, right? What did you notice about that? Mr. Natan was supposed to be teaching this kid a lesson, right? Natan was supposed to be showing this kid that online trolling is not good, and the lesson was going to be painful, is what that lesson was going to be. What I noticed right away is that it wasn't as much of an ass kicking as he originally said it was going to be on the feet. In fact, it actually looked kind of even. And the thing is, they clipped the best parts and they put those together, right? It was jump cuts of the best moments. And if those were the best moments, I'm honestly wondering what they're too afraid to show us. I want to see the parts that they were like, oh no, that doesn't look too good. We're going to go ahead, we're going to take that out, and we're going to scrap that. That's not going in the final video. This is going in the final video. They even put Ben in for a moment where he actually had Natan on his back foot. And I know that begrudgingly made it in there. That only made it in there, right? Because they were like, dude, we need more footage, but like, I don't know what we got, right? I mean, look, he's moving Ben backwards, all right? He's throwing punches and stuff like that. The punches didn't really land, you know. It doesn't make Ben look that bad, I suppose. The kid kind of stumbles at the end of it, right? So, I don't know. Like, I guess we'll just put this in because we don't have anything better to put in. I want to see what they were too afraid to show us. I want to see the entirety of the footage. And I don't think Natan will actually put that out, right? There were other things that he was supposed to put out that I looked a little bit and I did not see he put out. Like, there were supposed to be some DMs that he was going to release publicly and things like that. Those DMs never ended up being released. If you watch this entire video, they make mention of it, but that's the only time they mention the DMs, and the DMs were never made public or anything like that, right? So it makes you wonder the types of stuff that they're not showing you. It makes you wonder the types of stuff that actually don't make Natan really look that good, whether as a fighter or as a person, that they're just throwing in the dustbin, right? It's interesting to think about. But as I said, Ben has no ground and I almost said ground and pound. Ben has no ground fighting experience, so this is gonna go about as well for him as you would expect. Okay, just I'll prime you for this. You know, not that it's like some kind of big deal or anything like that, but we know where this is going now, okay?
Come on, buddy.
All right, so he's got the mount position. He's raining down punches. He's not going too hard on the punches, though he is kind of hitting solid. So this right here is an arm triangle, and you can see Ben is tapping. So he lets go, and then he ends up... Now, this is actually a really screwed up situation, and the reason why is because that's called an arm triangle. For those of you that don't know, what's happening is you see Natan's arm wrapped around one side, right? Now, Ben's arm is being forced across his throat like that, okay? And what's happening is his own shoulder is cutting off the other side of his throat. Now, it's not a trach choke. He can still breathe, but it's a blood choke, meaning the carotid artery is being cut off on one or more sides. In this case, it's both sides. Now, Natan, right, ended up getting this arm triangle in, and he ends up getting Ben to tap. Now, Ben's been tapping for a little while now. Natan ended up putting something out on Twitter. I think, if I remember correctly, it was Twitter. Somebody told me he said this, but he mentioned that he wasn't actually really squeezing. He was just kind of holding the position, and he wasn't actually choking the guy. No, he was choking the guy. And the way that I know this is because in order to finish an arm triangle from the top position, right, you have to squeeze, right? You know, I don't think he actually has a triangle. Right, I don't think he's actually got the triangle. Right, I was showing a rear naked choke. It's weird doing an arm triangle without, somebody in there to actually do the triangle with. But to finish an arm triangle from top, one of the ways that you're going to do that is you're going to go from the mount position, which is, we're going to go ahead. We're going to freeze frame. You're going to go from the mount position, which is here. All right, you see him kind of coming over. You're going to take that knee that's actually going over now, and you're going to step it over to that side so that you end up in what is basically side control. From there, you can squeeze harder, and you can continue to move around. So let's go ahead and see that. So he ends up taking the knee. He brings it over. Now, he didn't end up walking. Okay, so it probably was not being squeezed as hard as he possibly could. However, the idea that he was not squeezing and trying to finish the choke in that situation, I don't believe that, right? He was choking him. He wasn't just holding. If he was just holding, chances are Ben would have been like, oh, all right, well, I mean, I don't know what he's doing. He's kind of just got me in this weird spot. It's absolutely messed up because from day one in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you are taught that when somebody taps, you let go. When you're in the gym, if you feel or see or hear anything that even slightly resembles somebody tapping out, whether it's physically, meaning they tap, whether it's verbally, or meaning, they're like, or tap, or I give up, or whatever, right? You got it. Anything like that, you let go. It doesn't matter the situation, doesn't matter the person, you don't do it, right? So what Natan here is doing is just being an absolute scumbag down to the core of what jiu-jitsu is supposed to be about, right? And I know that MMA is not the same as jiu-jitsu, right? But if you talk to a lot of jiu-jitsu guys and you don't tell them who is who, if you're just like, oh, hey, I think this is pretty screwed up, right? Why don't you check this out? What do you think of this? If they don't know who this guy is and what this video is supposed to be, and if they don't know who this guy is, and again, what this video is supposed to be, they're going to be like, wow, that's pretty screwed up, dude. You don't fucking do that. And when somebody taps, you let go, right? So, again, Natan, for no reason at all, being a fucking dickhead, right? And trying to make it into something that it's not. Let's continue. Yeah. And notice how he sits there on top of him. I actually have a theory about why he decided to keep sitting on top of him. For one thing, it was because he was like, oh, I still want this guy to be uncomfortable. But for another thing, I feel like what it is, because when you end up, when you tap out in a jiu-jitsu match or something like that, not a match, but you're rolling and things like that. When you tap out during a roll, depending on the situation, right, you might just decide to keep on going from whatever position. Like, if somebody has me in mount and I want to practice mount, right, and they end up tapping me out, I might tap, and then they'll just get back in the mount position, right? They'll let go of the choke or the whatever they had, and then we'll just slap hands, fist bump, and we'll just keep on going, right? I almost wonder if Natan was sitting here like, okay, this kid is actually, like, not as bad on the feet as I originally expected him to be. So I don't think I want to go back to the feet. I think I want to stay here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let go of this choke. I'm going to continue sitting on him. And then I'm going to be like, all right, come on, let's keep going. Let's keep going. You ready? Let's keep going. No. We'll keep going from here. We'll keep going from here. Let's do it. I have a feeling that's probably got something to do with it. Now, am I saying it is 100% his intention? No. But just given the type of behavior we've seen from this guy thus far, and given the way that he didn't absolutely smash this kid on the feet, I don't think I'm completely and totally wrong for making an assumption like that, right? So His t-shirt shows that it's always personal with that guy. Yeah, pretty much. Yes, Samuel. Yes. Literally the first comment that I read about this. Yes, it's true. Like, it's always personal with this guy. And that's why I don't like the idea of the whole branding yourself with your religion thing. Because the thing is, right? If somebody called me a bitch, right? The Bible says I should just let that go for the most part, right? There are situations, don't get me wrong, where if somebody's coming at you in that way, like, you totally, like, 100% are justified biblically for at least being like, hey, fuck off, fuck you, right? But for the most part, if somebody is like, hey, Scott, you're a pussy, most of the time I should really just be like, all right, fuck you. Right? If somebody sits there and is like, hey, Christianity is dumb, even biblically, right? In a situation like that, biblically, it's not my job to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna tussle. It's not my job, right? Again, like, there's a line that you kind of have to cross. But when you sit there and you make your ego into your religion, right? Every minor slight, every small thing ends up becoming a violence offense, or a capital offense, a corporal offense is what I'm really looking for, right? You have to lay a smackdown on everybody. Every battle has to be fought every time. And it's not because your religion actually dictates that that's what you're meant to do. It's because you have dictated that's what you're meant to do according to your religion. Which is exactly why you don't brand yourself with your religion, which is exactly why you don't intertwine your ego with your religion. Because you start taking your religion and you morph it. You try and fit it into a box that's shaped like yourself. And that's not only A, a horrible way to live, B, that's how you piss God off. God is pissed when you do stuff like that. And this is what this guy is doing, right? I have no issue with the fact that he's Jewish. Good for him for being proud of being Jewish. But his branding and the way that his whole thing is, yes, I'm Jewish, that's my ego. That's the issue. And that's what led him to be in this situation where this kid thus far, again, has been nothing but respectful to him. He's been all good. He's shaking his hand, looking him in the eye, being like, yeah, look, I love everybody, dude. I was really just kidding. I'm not really married to everything you see online and stuff like that. It is, I'm just messing around. And now I'm here. Wow. Crazy, right? That's how this kid, meaning Ben, has been. And Natan has just been absolutely positively, like, venomous to him this entire time. And here we're seeing one of the worst offenses that he's committed against this poor kid. But let's continue.
I'm Tobin. You what? I'm Tobin. What? I'm Tobin. Get him! Get him! Oh, make him squeal!
See, this is an interesting part because, again, like, they don't want to show you the fight itself. They want to show you Chris Action Man Curtis. They want to show you everything except the fight right now. Like, you're going to notice that they keep cutting back and forth. Like there, like, what did that show? It showed the very end of an armbar, all right? Now it's to Ray Sefo and this chick who's probably dating one of the coaches if she's not a coach herself. Who knows? Maybe she's dating one of the coaches and she is a coach herself. Who knows? That's a thing with MMA chicks, you know? MMA girl tries not to date her coach challenge. Impossible. That kick didn't land. In fact, not only did that kick not land, Ben, look, like, it's funny to me that they include this. We're going to go ahead, since this is like a deep dive now, we're going to go ahead, right? Now, that was more accidental than anything, but Ben basically intercepted that kick. That not only did it not land, if anything, it's worse for Natan, right? He's the one who truly had his kick stopped. Sure, Ben ends up, staggering and stuff like that, though. That's why they included this in there. Because if you don't know what you're looking at, you think, oh, he staggered. That means he lost. Again, doesn't really look that good from Natan. That cross didn't land. That was a good knee. Ben throws a knee back, and then there's a sweep because Ben doesn't know what a sweep is. All right, so right here he's going for the armbar. And then he starts going for punches instead. I don't know if Ben tapped or not. And here we have somebody else.
Crowd, all my teammates rooting for me.
Yeah, sure.
Heavy on the body, Nathan.
Do it again. Let's go, Ben. Come on, Ben.
So he's not going that hard right now. I will say Natan is going light on purpose, right? So I don't want to sit here and oversell the way that he is being right now. But there are a lot of scumbag situations that he ends up in. So I want to go ahead. I want to go back to that, right? Now, I spoke to Ben, and he said this is one of the most egregious things that ended up happening in this video. So I was talking at first, but we're going to watch this again.
Sorry. Keep going. No, sorry. Shut up.
So what ended up happening, according to Ben, is Ben was just doing his thing, and Natan ended up accusing him of throwing elbows during sparring. Now, if you don't fight, you don't understand, or if you don't train, you don't understand that throwing elbows in training, right, when you're just sparring with your friends or whoever at whatever gym, that's kind of a big no-no. You don't do that, right? And the reason why is because elbows are sharp and they're hard and they create cuts that need stitches. So if you don't want to have to send everybody to the hospital every other day to get stitches over their eyebrows and stuff like that, you're not going to throw elbows in sparring. You can do it if you have elbow pads and everybody is on board with it and stuff like that, but you don't just do it randomly in the middle of a spar like that. It's not something that happens. So Natan accuses Ben of throwing elbows. Ben is like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. Right? And they ended up editing it so that it looks like he's basically begging for mercy. And again, like, Ben has not really done anything to deserve any kind of, like, contempt from anybody, right? Sure, he's a Fuentez supporter, but again, what does Fuentez have to do with this right now? They haven't even mentioned Fuentez in a little while. In order to make it about Fuentez, they had to put more video of Fuentez speaking than they did this kid right here, Ben. They had to do more Fuentez clips than clips of Ben. And it's just insane to see the absolute, like, shiesty shit that they're pulling right now.
Sorry. The fuck you mean sorry? Shut up. Get up.
Yeah. Don't show us the fight. Show us Chris Curtis having a good time.
5 seconds, finish him.
See, now he's really trying to hurt him. You know, he's throwing at the stomach. That's not the worst place to throw, but, you know. See, again, they're just treating him like shit for no reason.
He's a real deal. I knew he was a real deal coming in. 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust.
Murdered.
Murdered in the Holocaust.
Okay, that's good. Now,
See, this is an interesting part that I'm just going to skip through because it's just, again, kid's been nothing but nice. The worst thing you could say is that he challenged Natan to, like, a sparring match or something like that. That's the worst thing you could say to this, right? Or not to this, but about this. And they beat the kid up, and then they make him sit in front of the camera because he's just being such a nice guy, right? He's like, yeah, no, sure, it's okay. I'll still be on camera. That's fine. Oh, you want me to say something? All right, yeah, sure. I'll be humble about it. You just won the fight. I'll be humble. I'll be nice. What do you want me to say? Right? And they're trying to frame this as though it's some kind of victory. It's like, no, like, chances are this kid isn't any different from before. Right? If anything, he's probably dug deeper in because, again, he's been really, really nice about this whole thing. And these guys have just been absolute clowns. They've been scumbags, you know? I would walk away from that situation feeling worse about everything and everyone, if I'm being honest with you, right? Even though he didn't get hurt too bad or anything like that, I'd be like, wow, I was really nice to these guys and they were just bullying me for no fucking reason. Like, I was nice enough to show up and allow them to film me. He didn't have to let them film this, right? Even if there's like a waiver for you know, the gym specifically, like, this isn't the gym's video. This is Natan Levy's video. Those are two different things. He could have been like, yeah, no, I don't want this on film. Why would I want this on video, dude? Why would I want to sit here on video with you when you have such bad intentions? But no, he was nice about it. And he was like, all right, fine. You know, we can video it. Oh, you want me to say some stuff? Yeah, sure, that's fine. again, just scumbaggery that I think is absolutely disgusting. But we're going to go ahead, right? We're going to skip to this part.
Okay, so you're not a neo-Nazi, but you're still a troll.
Those two things are just as bad, I guess, right? You know, I guess that means he deserves to get treated like shit and beat up.
One lesson in life. This
I
one
need to
wasn't
be
that
more
painful.
well researched. That's true.
This one wasn't that painful.
This one was not that painful.
The next one will be twice as painful.
Hey, did I at least got you with a couple good shots?
No.
I guarantee you he did, though. I guarantee you he got him with more than a couple of good shots, and they're just not showing it in the video, right? Because, again, like, those stand-up portions, it's not that good looking on Natan's part, right? So I happen to believe Ben when he says he got him with a couple of good shots, and this is something that I didn't ask Ben about, right? Ben mentioned it briefly. He said that, it was a little bit closer than I'm sure Natan would have liked, right? He said something along those lines. But in addition to that, I like the veiled threat on Natan's part. It's like, you better not be mean on Twitter again, or else it's going to be twice as painful next time. It's like, what? You're gonna wait around a corner? You're gonna be outside in the bushes in his house at his house? You know, you're gonna beat him up again? Is that what you're saying? Because that really is what it sounds like. You know, again, like, the whole point of what I'm trying to say here is that what we have is a kid who, the worst thing you could say about him is he's a Fuentez supporter. All right, fine, whatever, right? And that he challenged somebody to a fight on Twitter in a very respectful way. Right from the get-go, he was treated with nothing but contempt. He was treated with disdain, and he was abused from start to finish. And now here's Natan, basically because he's in a position of power over this kid, knowing that he just beat him up and that he has a bigger platform. I guess he has more clout than this kid and stuff like that. He's sitting here and he's issuing a threat before he sends him on his way. Like, that's pussy behavior, right? And before I get into Natan and the other guy, and basically what I want to say to cap this all off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip to the next part. In fact, we won't even skip. We'll just go right ahead.
Few moments later.
There's a couple guys talking shit on Twitter about Jews.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't, Seaman. No, they weren't. They literally were not, and if they were, you would have included it in this video, because you know that would have made them the absolute, positively, unequivocal, unabated bad guys in this story. Right? If it was there, you would have put it there. Right? The worst thing you could say about the first kid is that he's a Fuentez supporter. Let's go ahead and see about this next guy. Let's see what he has to say.
So we told them to come to spar and they showed up, and let's have fun.
Let's have fun.
I wanted
Kid can't even put the gloves on. He doesn't know how they go on. Right? Look at how out of shape he is.
to come down here, see what's up. Saw he gets his ass kicked, but that's fine. Everybody gotta learn. I'm not defending Nick Fuentez, I'm defending my friend's honor.
Not defending Nick Fuentez, defending my friend's honor. First off, the worst thing you could say about that is it's weird. Is that this guy's like a little bit spurgy. A lot of bit spurgy. Alright, a lot of bit spurgy. Alright? It's the worst thing you could say about this kid. He wasn't talking shit about anybody. Legit. He didn't say anything about Jews. He didn't say anything about anyone. And yet, here we are. But let's go ahead, because this is the one that I really want you to see, and like you're gonna understand, or maybe not understand. You're gonna be disgusted by this one especially. So, feeling him out right now. Feeling him out. Just kind of probing with his front hand, meaning what's his face, Seaman. So he hits him with a stiff jab. So he works his way in with a feint. He feints, he throws a jab, then an uppercut, then a hook. That was a hard body shot. A hard hook, followed by a hard hook, and oh look, this guy who can't fight is down, and he doesn't expect it. Why don't I hit him with an extra one? Just for good measure. One of the fucked up things about this too, right, or one of the interesting things about this is that Mr. Seaman over here, he didn't go right out and try and get this kid right away, right? It's over now. They stepped in. It's over, right? he didn't go out and get this kid right away. He sat there and he probed with his front hand. He was waiting to see what this kid would do, right? He almost treated it like it was a real fight. It's kind of funny to see how it ended up going down. And that just shows me that even he wasn't really confident in his ability to put this guy away, meaning CJ. Seaman wasn't so confident in his ability to beat CJ in a fight. But after he hit him with that stiff jab, he knew, oh, okay, this guy doesn't stand a chance. And that's when he decided he would absolutely unload, going 100%, if not damn near close to 100%. He wouldn't have done that against a real fighter, because a real fighter, there would have been some kind of recourse, right? Especially that shot after the fact. Because a real fighter would have taken that shot for the most part, right? Most likely, assuming there was no actual like injury or anything like that. They would have got back up and they would have been like, okay, I didn't know it was hard sparring day. I didn't know it was gym war day. Let's fucking go, pussy. And they would have done something about it. But this guy can't do shit about it. So Mr. Seaman over here is throwing those kinds of fucking punches like a pussy. But let's go ahead and see the damage here.
I got fucked up.
Yeah, you did, bro. Kind of tough to see a little bit. You know, it looks a little bit better on the other screen. I don't know if you can see it very well. But his nose is unaligned. It's bleeding. I won't say profusely, but bleeding enough. There's some scuff marks, potentially a bruise, I would assume, from that first jab that he got hit with. And all for what? This guy didn't say shit. He didn't do anything to anybody. If he did, you would have included it in this video. It would have been included in this video, right? And here you are, beating the ever-loving hell out of him for literally no reason, just because he showed up and was like, yeah, sure, if you want to spar, go ahead. Yeah, sure. But let's continue.
I got my shit kicked out of me. Yeah. Pretty good though. Oh, I fucking.
Pretty
didn't
good
see it
though.
coming
No,
like
it wasn't.
The fifth punch. But that was pretty fun. So.
Yeah, give him a fucking hug.
Good experience.
Given this experience, do you think you got to maybe reevaluate your friendships with some people?
With who?
Maybe. You know, online friendships are online friendships.
I was enjoyed a lot. I like it. And don't talk shit about Jews, baby.
Again, nobody talks shit about Jews. And yeah, I'm sure you liked it, Seaman. I'm sure you liked it. It's always fun being the hammer. It's never fun being the nail, right? I'm sure you didn't really like it when you got knocked the fuck out in your second contender series match. And that brings me to the next thing. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a look at these guys. So this is Lethal Natan Levy. Oh, look at him. Wow. All right. So this is his record thus far. All right. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go through this. And wow, it's almost been an hour. That's crazy. I wanted this to be like 20 minutes, right? But I couldn't resist commenting on a bunch of the stuff. And that's not even all of the stuff in there, right? I tried to keep it down to the most important parts, at least in my eyes. There's more weird shit in there if you watch the entire video. We're going to go ahead, though. All right, so Marcus Sims was his first fight. Also a debuting fighter. This is his record. These numbers under here, okay? This is the record of the guy that he fought, you know, just at the time, okay? So, Marcus Sims, debuting fighter. Totally cool, no issue. Cameron Underhill, all right? 2-1, all right? Henry Barahona, 3-3, okay? Nick Batis, 1-0. Ben Lugo, 5-3. Shaheen Santana, 6-0. Rafa Garcia, 12-2. So this is the first time we actually see a legitimate challenge in his career, meaning Natan's, and he ends up losing. He loses decision, unanimous. It was his debut in the UFC. Okay, so he ended up winning 2 more. Genaro Valdez was 10-1. Mike Breeden was 10-4. Let's go ahead and check these guys out real quick. So he ended up getting into the UFC on the Contender Series. All right, he ends up winning his Contender Series fight. Loses 1, loses 2, loses 3. I guarantee you he's out of the UFC by now. If not, then he will be soon. You don't lose 3 in a row in the UFC and end up staying in the UFC unless you're some kind of crazy, well-loved individual. So 1 UFC win. The guy isn't even in the UFC anymore. Let's see about Genaro Valdez. Oh, wait, no. Jeez. Already clicked on him. Let's see about Mike Breeden. So, loss, UFC Fight Night. loss, UFC Fight Night, loss, UFC Fight Night. 3 losses in a row, is most likely no longer in the UFC. It would surprise me. All right, actually, this seems to be very recently, right? So he probably hasn't actually been cut yet, all right? But it's around the corner. You know it's around the corner. So we're sitting here looking at a guy right now who so far has fought dudes who are either jobbers or they're just other dudes who are on their way up. They are not actually challenges. The one challenge that Natan Levy has had, he ended up losing. Not that good. Not a good fighter. Now, Szymon Smotricki. All right, I think I actually said his name right that time. Wow. Let's go ahead and take a look. So, now, I'm not even going to read these fucking names, dude. Debuting fighter. 0-2, 0-1, 3-1. This is Matan Levy, not Natan Levy. Huh, funny. 3-1, 3-0. We finally have a guy who doesn't have a loss on his record, right? 14-5, 6-1. All right, and oh, hey, look, he ended up losing to this guy. So he ends up losing to Mike Malott via guillotine on the Contender Series 2021. Okay, he ends up fighting again. He ends up winning via ground and pound against a guy who is 11-5. He ends up losing again to Billy Goff, and that was it, right? He had another win where he ended up winning via illegal knee, meaning he got kneed illegally. There was a knee that was not supposed to have occurred. And because of that, this fighter, Charlie Deca, ended up getting DQ'd. And they ended up awarding him the win. So he has not truly won a fight since 2021 via ground and pound versus this guy, William Massario, who... He was 1-3 in the UFC from 2013 to 2015. So this is a guy who was on the downturn. He didn't make it in the UFC. Basically, he was there to give Mr. Smotricki an easy win. So much like in the video, Seaman only likes to fight people who cannot fight nearly as well as he can fight. When he's faced with an actual challenge, he ends up getting butt fucked. And we're going to go ahead, right? Billy Goff is actually from my area, so this is extra funny to see, but this is him right here. Oh, man. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun, isn't it, Simon? That's a lot of fun right there. Look at him. He's having a blast, bro. He's having a blast, bro. Dude, look at that. So much fun. Ah, that was fun. That was fun. I bet that was fun. That uppercut must have been fun. That one, too. Oh, man. So. I wanted to make this into a video, right? I wanted this to be a video, but this is literally an hour long. I don't know how I'm even going to be able to edit this down. Right? Especially because it's not like I was on my usual video grind where I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about this and then that and then this and then that. This was a little bit more freeform. But I guess the point that I want to make is that this is not actually how it seems, right? If these guys invited actual, like, Twitter troll, Jew haters who they just constantly shit post all about how, Jews are bad, Jews are bad, Jews are bad, Jews are bad, right? If they did that, I wouldn't have an issue with it. Because, I mean, it is talk shit, get hit. I don't think that it's okay necessarily for fighters to be beating up on non-fighters, right? But it would at least make it a little bit more understandable. But no. What it really seems like is there's two guys who have only cans records, meaning tomato cans, right? They have only cans records. And they know that they're probably never really going to make it in the UFC in the way that they would like to. They know they're probably never really going to reach that level that they really want to try and reach. And because of this, what they're doing is they're veering off the path and they're going, well, I mean, I might not be known for being like the best fighter ever, but I could be a Jewish MMA fighter who empowers people. And all I have to do is just, invite some Twitter trolls who have actually not truly done anything to me personally into the gym and just beat the hell out of them. And then I can try and arrange the clips and craft a narrative that makes me look like I'm some kind of like Antifa warrior or something like that, right? And I can get a little bit of clout from it. And you know what? It worked. Congratulations, Natan. Congratulations. All right, you got what you wanted. You got that attention you ordered. All right, but your soul is unclean for what you did. The way you went about that, it's not cool. All right, you didn't prove any points. All right, if the point you wanted to prove was that non-fighters get beat up by fighters, congratulations. All right, that was proven millennia ago. All right, but you're a punk. And if it was me talking smack, if Natan Levy stumbled upon this clip, right, he wouldn't want it. He'd ignore me. He'd ignore it. If I called Natan Levy out, he'd be like, oh, I don't have time for people like that. You know, Twitter's such a toxic place. It's such a toxic place. I don't need to entertain people like that. You know, I have better things to do with my time. That's how he'd do it. Either that or he'd completely ignore it. And when somebody's like, hey, what do you think about that guy who called you out? He'd be like, who? What? He'd pretend he didn't see it. That's what would end up happening. Because that's the type of people that this guy is specifically. That's the type of person that this Sheeman guy is. They're scumbags. And it's got nothing to do with their religion either. They're scumbags because that's just who they are as people. All right? So, hey, it is what it is. You won't see them wanting to fight anybody who can actually fight. And funny enough, I actually saw a comment on one of Hassan Piker's clip videos where he ended up talking about this. And in fact, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll pull it up right now because I took a screenshot of it. One moment. Oh, yes. So Natan Levy commented, my man, thank you for commenting on the action. Right? The action. It's kind of difficult to see, right? It almost sounds like he knew that was a complete setup and he just did it for propaganda purposes. It's almost like he knows that he was just trying to see if he could put something together as to where he could demoralize one group of people or embolden another group of people and things like that. It's almost like he knew what he was doing the entire time. Interesting. It's almost like Natan is a shyster. Is a fucking scumbag piece of shit. It's almost like that's the case. You know? And sure enough, there was a Muslim MMA fighter who back in 2021, I ended up finding this, I forget how. I'm sure you could find it too, right? But it's on Twitter. There was a Muslim MMA fighter who called him a rat years ago in the DMs, right? Which, like, I don't think it's cool because we all know what that guy meant by it, right? But he called him a rat in the DMs, and instead of being like, yo, you want to fight? What's he do? He goes to Twitter and he's like, this guy just said that about me. Jeez, excuse me. He goes to Twitter and he's like, this guy just said that about me. He's an anti-Semite. Instead of fighting, because you're a fighter, and that other fighter was talking smack, you go to Twitter and you start on your phone and you try and forget about it ASAP. Because you know that guy could have seriously done some real fucking damage to you, you know? It's just disgusting, you know? This went on 40 minutes too long. I apologize for that. I do want to play a little bit of New Vegas. I'll read some of these before I end up going to but before I end up playing New Vegas though, you know? And naturally, because it's already been an hour, the New Vegas is not going to be as long today. I apologize for that. I was trying to see what I could do with this, right? Because, like I said, I had that headache. I still have that headache, but it has actually gotten a little bit better. And today my plan was do the video. Who knows? Maybe I can even still do it at some point, right? Do the video, do this stream, and then try and interview Ben about it, right? About this situation. But everything seems to have fallen apart. Everything went haywire, bro. Everything's all screwed up. Man, I would just love to get in a room with the Sheeman dude though, because he fights at 170, right? He's a little bit tall for the division. He's 6'2", I'm 6 feet, but I know I could fucking ruin that guy. Just seeing the way that he is, I know that he is a hammer and he has never been a nail in a serious way. And anytime he's a nail, instead of getting tougher, right? Instead of toughening up and being like, you know what, now I know better for next time, he just goes straight back to, oh, but I want to be the Hammer. Are there any nails around? Are there any nails around? Are there nails? Oh, I want a guy I could beat up easy though. Can I get a guy that I could like easily beat the hell out of? He even had 2 opportunities to be on the Contender Series, and they don't just give you nobodies on the Contender Series, right? They give you dudes that they actually think will be tough fights for you, right? That's literally one of the I don't know if it's literally one of the reasons. I have a feeling it's one of the reasons, though. I have a feeling it's one of the reasons they did the Contender Series, because there's a lot of guys out there who are 8-1, right? 10-0, right? They're undefeated, or they're damn near close to undefeated. They only have like 1 loss on their record, right? There's a lot of guys like that who they get into the UFC and they start being given dudes that are actually like tough, and they lose 3 in a row, 2 in a row sometimes, and they get kicked, they get thrown out, right? So I have a feeling that was one of the ways that Dana was like, I'm tired of signing these guys just to have them wash out like 2 or 3 fights later. Like, let's give these guys actual fights, and then, you know, whoever wins the fights against dudes that are actually going to be like legit, you know, that are not going to be, the matches aren't going to be made by regional promoters that are friendly to these fighters. Whoever wins those fights, you know, they'll go ahead and they'll get the contract, and we'll start seeing what they do and how they are and stuff like that, you know. This guy was given 2 chances on the Contender Series, and he failed both times. He couldn't even bring it to a decision, right? Now, I'm not the kind of guy who sits there and goes over records and is like, this guy sucks, that guy sucks. But like, when you're going to be that way, when you're going to sit there and you're going to like invite nobodies to beat the hell out of, and then you're going to film it and put it on the internet and be like, haha, right? When that's going to be your thing, fucking, I'm going to start looking at you and I'm going to be like, well, does this guy actually is this guy actually good? Is this guy actually like okay? Or does he fucking suck? And this Shyman guy specifically fucking sucks, you know? But anyway, with that said, I don't know how people still follow Nick. I never followed Nick in the first place, so shit, man, I wouldn't know. Natan will be 49-48'd by all the lightweight Dagestani wrestlers soon. Yeah, chances are he's going to get fucked up, right? Like, if we're just being honest here, even his UFC career, he's been kind of blessed, right? He's been given guys that are on the downslope, right? He lost his first fight against a guy that was actually going to be like difficult for him, right? And then he was given guys that were on the downslope, and if they lost, it was going to be a pivotal moment in their careers and things like that. They're using Nick as a scapegoat. When I first saw the story, I thought he got his ass beat. LMAO. That was Sylvia saying that. I don't know who you mean by he. Did you mean Nick? It was going to be Nick who got his ass beat? It wouldn't. Yeah, like they probably tried to frame it that way. Nick is a dork, but using clips that are obviously a joke isn't helping their case either. Exactly. Like, they got baited. Well, you see, that's the thing, and this is why I try not to joke around about certain topics, right? Humor is something that is great, and everybody recognizes it, but a lot of people like to pretend it's not actually a thing. A lot of people like to pretend it's not really what it is, right? So when you tell a joke that somebody can use for ammunition, what they end up doing is they play it as though it's some kind of like, oh man, he was serious about that. That wasn't a joke. That was a statement. That was a statement of his true beliefs, right? And this is why I try not to joke about things of certain topics and things like that. I try not to joke about certain topics and stuff like that because I know that, like, all right, I make one edgy joke that everybody laughs at, and then some person later on comes back and is like, oh, that was a statement of his belief system, right? It's crazy, but that's the way that it is, you know? And these guys, even though if you are not an idiot, you look at those guys and you think, wow, those guys are fucking stupid. Those guys are fucking dumb, and they suck at fighting, right? If you look at it, even if you look at it like that, they don't, and there's a lot of people in places of power who don't as well. Right? It was messed up. He holds the choke or whatever. Yeah, that's not okay. Natan is backing away a lot, going easy on Ben. He was definitely going easy on Ben. Don't get me wrong. Natan was going easy on Ben, right? But the whole point of that was to try and prove a point, right? It was to try and teach Ben a lesson and things like that. And when it comes to the feet, Ben wasn't taught anything, right? When it comes to the striking, Natan actually didn't look like a UFC caliber fighter. Because the thing is, you can go light while still looking like a UFC caliber fighter, right? Natan looks like the top guy on the regional scene. That's what he looks like at best, given that shit, right? And I haven't seen him fight. Maybe I'll see him fight in the future. Maybe I'll even watch the card that he's on, right? Maybe the viral marketing stunt worked, and I'm gonna watch the fight that the card that he's gonna be headlining, right? Maybe it worked. Damn it, he got me, right? But I guarantee you, if I look at Natan, I'm not gonna be impressed. I guarantee you, right? There's allowing somebody who is below you to work. There's allowing somebody who's not as good as you to get a couple of punches and kicks in and to back you up and stuff like that. Because you're trying to help them learn, because you're trying to help them get better, because you're trying to work on your defense or something like that. And then there's what Natan did, which was, yeah, I'm going to beat this kid up and teach him a lesson. Oh, oops, I'm not beating him up. In fact, he's actually kind of backing me up and, defending my punches and kicks. Oh, shit. That wasn't supposed to happen. One sec. There we go. All right. Yeah, him not letting it go shows that it's personal. Yeah, it is, I hope every single fighter in that gym gets knocked out by Bilal Muhammad or Usman Nurmagomedov. Yeah, I mean, I like Sean Strickland. That was Sean Strickland's gym, I do like that, but I do like Sean Strickland, but yeah, like I'm not a fan of Chris Curtis. I really don't care about Chris Curtis like that, I'm obviously not a fan of lethal Natan Levy, of lethargic Natan Levy, the loser Natan Levy, or Sheeman the asshole Smotritsky, right? But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like that was a high level gym, right? But it is what it is. Have you considered the headaches are from the caffeine in the soda? Oh yeah, I literally said that in the beginning of this. Yeah, I did. Sorry, I'm texting someone right now. All right, I'll go ahead and I'll pull up Fallout New Vegas, New Vegas. Okay. Hold on. I want to see if I can try and get some stuff. Oh, nope. There we go. Oh, nope. All right, there we go. All right, that's what we wanted. All right, so last time we were here, we were at Camp McCarran. We're gonna try and finish up the Camp McCarran, whatever they're called. We're gonna try our best to finish up the Camp McCarran quests. Excuse me, right? And then we're gonna go ahead and we'll call it quits there. So yeah, that'll be that. So, continue. Yes. Oh yeah. I've been playing Fallout 1, so I haven't actually had to use the keyboard for much of anything. So it's like, it's weird having to use the keyboard again. I've really been enjoying Fallout 1. It starts off really slow. Like, somebody asked me, I think last week, like, oh, does Fallout just start off slow and it gets better? And it definitely does, right? But what is, oh, you know what I want to see? I want to see something real quick. But what, you know, what starts off even slower but does get, like, really good is Fallout 1, right? And I have a feeling that's how it's always been, right? You know?
I am ready to process our transaction.
Yeah, my thought at first with Fallout 1, because I tried to play it a couple times over the years and I just could not. But, my thought with oh, man. Dude. Whatever, I'll take it, but I'm gonna check just to be sure. Oh, you know what? I will take that, though. Whoop. What the hell is that? Alright, hold on. Gonna alt-tab out of this real quick. For some reason, it's being weird. Fallout 2 is a good place to start. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't need to start at Fallout 2 because I actually am enjoying Fallout 1. I kind of can't wait to finish Fallout 1 to get into Fallout 2 because I hear that Fallout 2 is actually, like, a lot more developed and things like that than Fallout 1, which makes sense because Fallout 1 was a B-tier project. Actually, funny thing, Tim Kaine, the creator of the Fallout series, hold up. Tim Kaine, the creator of the Fallout series, is, oh, yeah, give me, I can't, oh, man, well, whatever, I'll do that. But Tim Kaine, the creator of the Fallout series, literally the guy, where are you off to, dude? Holy shit. He has a YouTube channel, you can look him up, it's just Timothy Kaine, and he actually tells stories about the development of Fallout, and, dude, he just phased through that fence. You just straight up phased through that fence. Let me see here.
You've done a good turn for the NCR,
all right.
Now we'd like to do one for you. There's an NCR emergency two-way radio. You call, and we'll come running. You're not alone out here. The NCR has your back. Stay safe and good hunting.
Thanks, pal. Alright. I just wanted to, before I ended up looking for, I think it was Driver Nephi, I wanted to see if I could get a sniper rifle scope, you know? Okay, I'm pretty sure I have to go in here. South Vegas Ruins, you know, I know that's kind of the spot, but, you know. Vegas is confusing, you know, the way they put it. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. But yeah, Tim Kaine has a YouTube channel you should check out for sure, because it's really cool to hear a lot of the stories and stuff like that, and some of the behind the scenes and other things like that. He also tells of why he left during Fallout 2's production, right? And it's actually kind of a screwed up story. You know, it really shows you that even back in the 90s where people think like, oh, video games were for the love of it, there was a lot of corporate bullshit, you know? Oh, man. Oh, got another one. What would happen if you got vilified by the NCR and then used the radio? I think they just wouldn't answer. I feel like I've tried that before, and they just straight up didn't answer. No scope. I'm at that point where I have way too much junk, so... Hello again, Scott. Hope you're doing well this evening. Yeah, I'm doing alright, MDT. Hope you're doing alright, too. No, I don't want to. Sorry, one sec. Alright. Damn. I just straight up missed. I had a 50-50 and I missed. I don't want to shoot any... is that Nephi? Is that Nephi? Yes, that is Nephi. Whoop. See, I didn't want to hit any of them because Nafai just looks like all the other themes. He doesn't look special or anything. He's just got a golf driver, so I wanted to be sure. Oh, dude. Oh, I'm not gonna get the full. I'm not gonna get the full reward anymore now. Oh boy. All right, well, here we go, I guess. Okay. All right, well, just doing the same damn thing we always do. There we go. So next, yeah, depending on how many skill points I get, these are going to be maxed out. So I have to figure out a good place to put them in where I'll still be a big dumb idiot who doesn't know how to do anything other than shoot and lockpick. But you know, all right. Electron charge pads. Damn, that bloody mess part killed me. Alright, whatever. Let's get back to McCarran. Aw, jeez, Daughtry. Ah, jeez, Daughtry. Dude, his head exploded for no reason. Dude, I don't know. I was shooting him in the body, dude. Like, he just kind of exploded. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Dude, it's crazy, dude. Yeah, Tim is in the algorithm. Is that Daughtry? No, that's some fucking grunt. Some devil dog. That's not Daughtry either. I know what Daughtry looks like. I don't know why I'm like, oh, is that him?
Still working on that last bounty?
Yeah, about that. Dude, I got the head, dude.
That's supposed to be driver Nafai? Well, the head's in really bad shape, so I can't authorize the full reward. If he really is dead, we're all better off. I guess we can send First Recon down to Camp Forlorn Hope. They need all the help they can get there. You've been one hell of a stroke of good luck, you know that? Those 3 scumbags probably killed 20 NCR troopers. And you bring them down alone. Wish I had a few grunts as good as you. Damn good working with you.
Alright. Let's get on going. So hopefully I can talk to Curtis and I can beat the hell out of that Legionary. I would also like to talk to the to Betsy or whatever her name is. Gorabits. Betsy.
Never seen you around before. What do you want? You killed him? Well, shit. Here I dreamed up this whole elaborate revenge fantasy.
Daughtry has a leafy chin. He does.
As long as the tubby bastard was actually alive, I could pretend like I would. Here, I owe you. Take it and get out of here, before I indulge my inner bitch and spoil the moment.
Haha, yeah. Nobody likes you. Literally nobody likes you. You're annoying. Nobody thinks you're lovable. Nobody thinks you're cool. Nobody thinks it's cute or quirky that you're like, ha, I'm a bitch. You literally are just a bitch and nobody actually likes you. They only tolerate you because they know that, you know, they have to. Fucking cunt. Anyway, let's keep on going.
First recon guy looking after me.
I'm missing Oblivion, where you could literally just get good at acrobatics by just being like, alright. There we go. Alright.
You're back.
Yeah. Can I help?
Now, what kind of MP?
I forgot I also have the Curtis one.
I've had soldiers go AWOL, break-ins, thefts, you name it. Well, Well, there's Anders. He's a ranger. That one's not suspicious so much as worrisome. He left on a dangerous assignment. Colonel Shu sent him out. Now I think he feels guilty not having any way to check up on him.
There we go. Alright.
I don't know him very well myself.
Sorry, I'm trying to get something figured out in the middle of this, you know.
Someone to get in and get out quietly. Colonel Shu would really be the person to talk to.
Alright, tell me about the break-ins.
Maybe break-in isn't the right word. We didn't find signs of forced entry, but I've had reports of someone sneaking into the control tower at night. It's probably just a meeting spot for a steamy military base love affair. Kids today. But it bothers me that they didn't break in. It means they have an access code. Most soldiers around the base don't have that. Sure, if you want to investigate. It's not like there's anything to steal up there. Just a bunch of old communications equipment. If you can find out any more, I'd be interested to hear it. There's something about this I really don't like. And if I weren't tied up here, I'd be staking it out personally. Not the kind of things you like to see go missing. No witnesses yet.
It didn't actually say. It just skipped. I didn't click.
In charge of distribution, the little weasel. But he's too slick to let anyone catch him doing it. We've searched his possessions a dozen times. Nothing.
Alright,
Good. The more guns you can recover, the more I'll be able to use to shoot Contreras for being inept.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so far this has gone exactly as
we got it.
expected. Poorly. But with the work you've done for NCR already, you might be just what I've been looking for. We captured an honest-to-God centurion of Caesar's Legion recently. Better believe it. Everybody in Caesar's Legion from Caesar on down will kill themselves before they can be captured. They're so twitchy they'd probably do it if you reached out to hug them. But here's this guy, who's an elite commander in their army, and he just gives himself up, even as his men are slitting their own throats around him.
The NCR has salvaged robots and power armor, yet can't intercept basic radio transmissions. No, they can't. Because the NCR is inept.
Well, I don't know about you, but to me that sounds like a man who's willing to cooperate. Except he hasn't. Only times he speaks up are to insult you. He's a real prick, by the way. And I'm supposed to get information out of this guy.
Alright.
I like the way you think. Have I said that yet? Problem is that the NCR frowns on using that sort of tactic. There's some restrictions still in place from President Tandy's administration. But here's my favorite thing about you. You're not in the NCR. Plus, for all this guy knows, you're completely insane. That's a winning combination.
Well, you see, you don't beat them. What you do is you refuse to let them sleep by blaring music all night and day, you know? And you don't put hands on them or anything like that. You just make them do exercise like wall sits, you know, and other things like that. That's how you do it. You can't get in trouble for not beating someone, can you? And I mean, technically you didn't beat them. You didn't lay a finger on them. You just said, hey, do a wall sit. Right? Am I right or am I right? When you think about it, you know.
I think if you rough him up enough and really put some fear into him, he'll sing like a choir boy. So let's do this. When you're ready, I'll go in and give you a little intro. Then I leave the room and you make him regret the day he was born. We go back and forth a couple times until either he talks or he can't move his jaw anymore. Either way, we've had our entertainment for the day.
Alright.
That's the spirit. Okay, I'll go in and have a word with him. Then I'll call you in.
Oh, okay. I forgot I was still running around.
Long time no see, Silus.
Lieutenant. I was just thinking.
That's so.
I was just thinking about that pretty neck of yours.
Riz.
Sweet.
was thinking about how it would look with a Legion slave collar on it.
I'll pass.
Do you know what I love about our slave collars, Lieutenant?
If you love them, maybe you should try one on.
I love how tightly they fit. I train my men to make sure the slave's flesh bulges a bit around the top and bottom. Know why?
It's all the rage in fashion circles.
Oh wow, that was funny.
If you fit it,
You're really funny, Boyd. Huh?
Wearing it. It cuts in just enough when they swallow or turn their head, reminded who they belong to. And it's that constant reminder that keeps them docile.
In that case, maybe you'd better save the collar you were gonna give me.
Oh? For whom?
This guy.
You're about to meet.
Right
My friend
here.
isn't very docile.
And who is this friend of yours?
You know all the rules the NCR instituted to protect enemy prisoners of war?
Of course.
My friend doesn't. Oh, and Silus? If you resist at all, I'll personally blow your brains out.
Stand on it.
Come on in. He's all yours. I'll be back in a bit to see how you're getting
I'm gonna stand on Rex.
And I'll need you to surrender your weapons before you go in.
What?
You can pick them up from the locker on your
Okay.
way out.
Are you coming? Are you coming? Yeah, all right. Yeah, you're coming out. Good. Nah, you know what? We'll talk to him first. We'll give him a
What
chance.
an ugly little worm you are. What pile of excrement did the lieutenant pluck you from, worm?
Oh yeah. Here we go.
I must admit that a conversation with an imbecile may be far worse than the kind of torture I was anticipating. But somehow I think I'll manage. I can take anything you've got. All mine.
It's like, "Arr." I forget if he's supposed to stand up and move around like that. I hope I don't just straight up kill this guy. Because I feel like by now he was supposed to, like, you know, be like, nah, we're done. Okay, I'll do anything you want. Or whatever it was.
Alright, you can stop
Oh,
for a second.
okay. Alright, okay, good.
Whoa, easy there. You're supposed to rough him up a little, not kill him. Why don't you step outside?
Look at all
a
the
minute,
blood
let off
everywhere.
some steam. Nice. I think my friend doesn't like you, Silus. I don't know how much longer I can keep him under control.
You think this'll make me talk? A beating? This is the best you can do?
Not just any beating.
I want to bring
Silus.
Oh Baby in there.
A savage.
I wish I could stow Oh Baby away between my butt cheeks and just fucking poof.
When my friend's done with you, you won't have any of your teeth left. You'll be drinking your food through a straw.
Yo, what is that noise?
Your ribs will never heal properly, and it will hurt every time you breathe. It'll be like your collars, Silus. Impossible to forget.
Go to hell.
Huh. Not the sort of wit I've come to expect from you, Silus.
That means you're getting somewhere.
I'm getting entertainment. That's something. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna spill your guts to me? Or am I gonna let my friend the maniac back in here for some playtime? Silus. Silent treatment, huh? Have it your way. Come on back in. I think he misses you. Oh, and let me check you for weapons one more time. For your safety as well as his.
Why is that noise like... Alright. Let's get going. See loose.
You hit like a bedridden old woman.
Lucky you, you can borrow my dentures when I
It'll
knock
take
all
more
your
than
teeth
that
out.
to get me to talk, worm.
I like how they're ready to fight.
You like that? Eat this.
He's just in the corner and I'm just absolutely mogging him.
Eat this.
Enough, this is pointless. I'm dead to the Legion either way, I'll tell you what I know. But you should know that Caesar has always kept his own counsel. He never reveals anything that would make him vulnerable. My knowledge will not prevent the inevitable. This camp will be ash within months. Maybe weeks. Something is wrong with Caesar. Something he is attempting to hide from his men. But it was obvious before we set out on this last mission. For 3 days we awaited his order to dispatch us. 3 days. But he hid in his tent, refusing to give orders, complaining of headaches. He looks different now than he used to. His face is sunken, sickly. But any questioning of his health enrages him. There is one other thing that may interest you. I know that Caesar has planted a spy here. Every night, details of NCR troop movements are broadcast from a radio on this base to Caesar's camp. The spy has been here a long time, since before the entire conflict began. He's an officer. If I knew who he was, I would tell you. If I escape and he's alive to report it, the Legion would hunt me down. But like I said, none of this information will change the outcome for you. No force can hold back the tide of the Legion.
Nice bow. Alright. We out of here.
That was fun to watch. I'd have you do it again, but I'd probably get in trouble. This'll do the NCR a lot of good, so you should be proud.
You should be
Here's the
proud of
standard
war
fee.
crimes.
Plus, I threw in the price of a good show on the strip. That's from me personally. You can beat up my prisoners anytime.
Nice.
Yep. See you around.
Alright, so I know it was short today. I apologize, guys, but we're going to go ahead. We're going to get out of here. You know, obviously not every Fallout Sunday I'm going to have something to spend an hour talking about, right? You know, and next week we'll end up, we'll hit it hard. You know, thank you everybody who showed up. I really appreciate it as usual. There should be a video coming out tomorrow. I'm going to figure out which one I want it to be or if there is something else I can do. If not, then it'll be a little bit later this week. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I'll go ahead and I'll save. And I'll, you know, oh man, Chike Crusher, you sent me $10 just before I was about to save. You know what? But I don't want to kill anyone at the camp, though, is the issue. Alright, Chike Crusher, if you remind me next week, I'll kill an NPC in a place that's kind of inconvenient for me that's not Camp McCarran, okay? Because I don't want to screw up these quests or anything like that. Thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and save 2 of them. And yes, there we go. Alright, cool. So, there we go. Yeah, and again, I apologize if I was a little today as well, because like I said, I had that headache, most likely from drinking way too much soda and shit like that. But yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Peace. Hold on.